are again. And like always, we're going to start out with the subscriber spotlight. You guys are sending in the pictures. We appreciate it. We are loving it. Love seeing what everybody's working on. Some creative people out there. So let's get started. Our first one today is Marianne Fox. She has turned in some stuff before. She comes to the Craft Acropolis here in town, and that's how I met her first, but she has sent in some more pictures of something else. It was a project that she said she started around 2017, and it's been in a box ever since. She said she thought she was planning on doing a quilt with it, making it into a quilt, but she has finished it, and she's turned it into a table runner. And here's the picture. Enjoy. Our next subscriber comes to us from Tecumseh, Michigan, and her name is Mary Oleman. Now, she submitted a picture, I think it was last week, of a project that she had started, and she didn't have any supplies. She was using scissors and a ruler and a pencil, and she didn't have hardly any supplies. So she went out and bought her supplies, some more supplies, and is making her project. She started it again, I think it was last week she turned that in, and you guys were all supportive, saying how good her project was, and it was. And she has been working on that some more. So now what she's done is turned it into a pillow. And she said, well, you can't have just one pillow, you gotta have another pillow. So now she's gonna make another pillow, and well, this is her project. The next subscriber we want to highlight is Tracy Culverhouse. She is a local here in Alabama, and she comes in the shop quite often, and she makes some beautiful quilts. Some beautiful quilts. Well, the one that she brought in this time, we quilted it for her, and it's a poppy quilt, and it's a memory quilt. She's got on the back of it a label. You all know how I love labels and the importance of labels, and she's put an adorable label on the back of her quilt. So I want to show you the front and the back of this quilt. The next subscriber is Teresa Maddox. She brought in, with her husband, she brought in a quilt for me to finish quilting. And let me tell you the backstory of this quilt. Her mother had started it, and she'd bought the fabrics in like the 1990s and made it around 2010. And she needed something to keep her busy after her husband had passed away. So she started making this quilt. And she unfortunately passed away while she was quilting it, so she didn't get to finish it. Well, her daughter brought it in with her husband. Teresa Maddox is the daughter, and she brought in the quilt and said, this is how it is. This half of the quilt is quilted, this half of the quilt is not, but she wanted it finished. And so she said, asked me to quilt the second half of it, but the first half that her mother had quilted was by hand. She asked me to quilt the other half by machine so that there's a definition from where her mother quit quilting to where the rest of it where we quilted it. So there's a definite difference where you can see her mother's stitches versus the machine stitches. That's how she wanted it. This quilt turned out beautiful. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed those quilts. They were all beautiful. Everyone's doing such a good job, and I am loving getting to see what all you guys are working on. So we appreciate you turning them in, and well, thank you. So now let's get on to what we're going to talk about today. Today we're going to talk about all things fat quarters. A lot of people have asked me a bunch of different questions about, like, how do you put your fabrics together? What are the different pre-cuts? I've already gone through some of those things in other videos about the different types of pre-cuts. I can go over that if I need to, but today we're just talking fat quarters. You can buy fat quarters in a number of ways. You can buy them in the big bundles like this. What this is this is an entire line of fabric. This is the new one called Folk and Lore. And this is what it is a piece of cut from all the different prints in the line. There might be 20, 30 prints in that line. This is what this is. You got a fat quarter of each. And a fat quarter is 18 inches by 22 inches. So you've got a piece of every fabric in that line. This is a big bundle. That's one. There's all different size bundles. Here's another one. This is a little one. And this is mainly really good blenders, but it's like a rainbow. This is the spring collection for this line. We've got spring, winter, summer, and fall on their lines. So of course the winters are gonna be darker colors, that kind of thing. But they all go together, and you can put stuff with it or you don't have to. There's other bundles like this, not quite as big as this one, but it's still all the different colors in the line. This is the tilde dot line. I did a video not long ago on this, on the star quilt, and it is one of my favorite quilts. Well, that's what this was. It came from these fat quarters, and we cut them into the shapes to make the stars. So there's that. Here's another one of a small little bundle. There's all different sizes. You can even get individual fat quarters. So what we do is, if you don't want to buy the entire line of a fat quarter bundle, because it can get costly, but it's a great purchase because all of this goes together. It is a line, it goes together. You don't have to think of a thing. I love these because of that. But you got these patterns that have different, like here's a book of all these patterns in here are all fat quarter patterns. All these are all fat quarter patterns. You can buy individual fat quarter patterns that'll use fat quarters. Or there's books like this one that has multiple cuts. Like it has things to do with fat quarters, things to do with jelly rolls, layer cakes. I mean, all different pre-cuts are in this one. So there's lots of ways to go when you're doing a quilt. But let's say we wanted to make a quilt and we've got a certain pattern. Well, you wouldn't want to do this one, or this one. But let's just say we've got an individual pattern that we want to do, and our color schemes at our house are maybe a red and cream. Okay, I want to do a quilt that might focus mainly on reds and creams so it matches my room at my house. So what I would do was, if I don't see a bundle like this that's mainly reds and creams, or I don't see one these sizes that are mainly reds and creams, then I can go pick my own out. So what I would do was, I would go here. These are Moda fat quarters, and we get these all the time. We're constantly pulling these in because they're constantly selling. We also have fat quarters here that we cut off the bolt, and maybe we're at the end of the bolt and it's got enough to cut some fat quarters, so we'll just cut some fat quarters and stick them in these sets. So there are lots, I mean hundreds of fat quarters here at the shop. So if I wanted to do that red and cream quilt, I would come in here and I would go here, and if it was a fat quarter friendly pattern, and I would pick out some like this one. This is a cream. That would go good in it. And this one's got red in it and cream. There's another one. Actually, they're right here together, so that's working out well. These. Okay. Maybe not so much a gray, but like this one. And over here you got this one. Here's one that's got red and cream in it, but it's also pulling in some navy. Okay, so I might put all of these together to make my own fat quarter bundle and then throw this one in there. That's gonna add some different pop of color to it. So you got some navy. So now if I could find, here's one, another 1 or 2 pieces of navy to pop that in together, that's gonna look good. Then you've got, here's one that's got the blue in it. So you can make your own bundles. And then when you find this pattern in here that you wanna make, let's say this is the one we're gonna make. If I wanted to make that one and I wanted it to be creams and reds to match my den, then I would come in here and it tells me I need 24 fat quarters. So then I would pick out 24 prints that I like this, that pull in the different colors. So I would have to pull in another one. Here's a red one that's got a little bit of navy in it. That would go good in there. You have so many options of ways to go. And if you don't want to put a whole lot into it at one time, then you take that pattern that said 24 fat quarters and you get started on it today, and you buy maybe 5 fat quarters and you get started on it. And next week you want to throw some more into it, you come back and you get another 5 fat quarters. And that way it's not such a hit at once. You've got $20 this week and $20 next week to put it together. Great. You want to put it all together? That's good too. So there's lots of ways to make a quilt using a fat quarter. They're very, very easy to find, easy to use. And like I said earlier, they are 18 by 22 inches. So you can get a lot of cuts off of one fat quarter. And you might even have fabric at home, scraps at home that might be big enough to use to add into whatever you're putting together. And this goes for any color scheme, obviously. I mean, you could do blue and white, and there's tons of blue and white fat quarters here, and you can find them anywhere, but Sew Charming is the best place to find them. Just letting you know that. Now, we don't have individual fat quarters online because these don't have barcodes on them, so we can't really put them out there. But if you're at home and you've got a pattern that has 15 fat quarters in it and you do want reds and creams or something, all you have to do is call us and say, hey, I want reds and creams fat quarters and this is how many I want. Then you call us, we send you an invoice and we send them out to you. And we can send you pictures of them ahead of time so you approve them and all that. But anyway, there are lots and lots of ways to use them. Jelly rolls, now they come already 2.5 inch strip rolls. And it's the same way this was. You got a piece of each one in the line, but they're 2.5 inches wide. Now, you don't really sell 2.5 inch strips individually, so you can't really piece it together like you can a fat quarter. That's why I like fat quarters. You can make your own bundle any day of the week. They are easy to work with, fun to work with, and they're so open-ended on how you can use them, what you can use with them. So that's just another idea. Here's one that it's a little set, but to show you what I'm talking about with this, pulling it together. You see how this piece right here has gold in it? This bundle goes good together. You could also find a piece, here's a fat quarter that was sticking out in the box and it's perfect. See how this one has that gold in it? You could put that in there and tie that together because of that gold. There's another one right here. So once you put this has the gold in it. Once you put this in there with the gold in it, it's gonna go pretty together because that gold is gonna pop from one piece to the next and it's just gonna transition. You can add different colors. Fat quarters are the easiest pre-cut to use. Well, I take that back, they're all easy. Pre-cuts are the way to go. Obviously you can tell I love pre-cuts. There are endless possibilities on what to do with them. Like that star quilt that I told you I made. Where'd I put those star? Oh, right in front of me. That was the star one. We did a quilt with a jelly roll that was making a quilt from start to finish several months back. And that was from a jelly roll. So there's a lot of ways to use pre-cuts. They put a quilt together really quick. It's a whole lot quicker to put a pre-cut into a quilt and have the quilt done than it is to do yardage and cut it and do that kind of thing. They're both pretty, but if you're in a hurry and you need a gift for somebody, pre-cuts are the way to go. I love them. I love them so much so that we have an entire room here dedicated to pre-cuts. Love them. So that's pretty much all I had today. I just wanted to show you what a pre-cut fat quarter is, how you use them, and how you can blend them together. So that's how you do it. If you have any questions, you know how to reach me. And if you want to be on next week's episode as a subscriber, turn in whatever picture you've got that you're working on or that you were gifted or anything else that you think everyone else would like to see. We love seeing them because we learn so much from them. We are inspired by them, and we just enjoy seeing them. And if they've got a history to them, I love hearing the history of them. So until next time, you guys have a great rest of your weekend. Have a great week next week. Enjoy what you're doing, and happy quilting.